Welcome. Today I'm going to explain a science fiction film called The Mandela Effect. Spoilers ahead. A game developer named Brendan, his wife Claire, and their daughter Sam are vacationing at a beach that day. The three of them enjoy spending time together and are joking around and laughing a lot. Sam plans to hunt for snails along the beach while they unwind, and she makes a pledge not to play in the water. Claire consents, on the condition that Sam stays close to their location. Sam is too preoccupied looking for snails to notice that Curious George is the shape of the waves. Sam tries to take the doll, but sadly, the waves drag her along. Brendan and Claire are devastated by the loss of Sam, despite Claire's attempts to move on. Brendan, who adores his daughter dearly, was unable to do so. Brendan unintentionally comes across a book with the title The Berenstain Bear as they are packing Sam's belongings. When they are asleep, he clearly recalls that the book's original title contained an E rather than an A, which makes him feel strange. Next, his brother-in-law, who is irate, enters the kitchen and makes a funny noise as he searches the refrigerator for food. Afterwards, Brendan feeds him some pizza and inquires about the book. The Baron is staying there with Matt. Brendan corrects Matt by pointing out that the title of the book is actually The Berenstain Bear with the letter A, to which Matt responds that it is The Berenstain Bear with the letter E. Brendan searches for it online out of curiosity, and discovers that many people believe the lettering in the book is the Berenstain Bear with an E. Brendan keeps looking for information until he discovers a theory, the Mandela Effect theory, that can account for the incident. The following morning, Brendan is perplexed by the family portrait on the refrigerator. When his wife is questioned about the location of the photograph, Claire responds that it was taken in front of the Griffith Observatory. Brendan, though, is certain that they did not snap pictures there. Instead, they posed for photos at Seattle's Pacific Science Center. His wife wants him to leave since she is cooking but doesn't answer. After that, Brendan visits Matt and discusses the Mandela Effect hypothesis. Matt disputes Brendan's claim that he is witnessing the Mandela Effect phenomenon and claims that Brendan is simply having a false recollection. Brendan, though, continues to hold to his notion and thinks he now dwells in a parallel realm. Brendan keeps researching these possibilities till he discovers on the forum that a CERN experiment using a Large Hadron Collider is what is responsible for the Mandela Effect. The experiment is carried out in Russia in 2008, and many people simultaneously encounter unexpected occurrences, including the Mandela Effect. Brendan then makes an attempt to speak with a priest named Isaac to learn whether God actually exists. Brendan, though, doesn't hold God responsible for the creation of this universe after hearing Isaac's remarks. Claire tries to convince Brendan not to cling to the past with Sam after noticing his peculiar behavior. Brendan should move forward from his past, according to her. Then he queries his wife over the image of the man in the Monopoly. Claire is adamant that the character from the board game Monopoly always has a monocle on one side of his eye. It turns out that the guy's image is not employing a mono when she checks it. Brendan also notes that while the Curious George doll that Sam owns has a tail, the monkey Curious George persona does not. All of these, according to Brendan, are related to the Mandela Effect theory. Brendan believes that Sam's passing at the time was simply another parallel universe version that stepped into the present and changed the course of events. Brendan, however, has Claire upset and frustrated since he only thinks about himself and his bizarre notions prevent them from moving on. Brendan is nonetheless adamant that the Mandela Effect is real. Brendan continues to research the theory. He learns that the Mandela Effect might happen as a result of other parallel universes mixing with the one he is currently inhabiting. There are many parallel universes, and each one has a different version of the current life story. He believes that Sam is most likely still alive in a different parallel universe. In the end, he discovers a scientist by the name of Dr. Roland Foots who shares his conviction that this universe is really a simulation. When Brendan seeks to see Dr. Roland, he is already booked. Brendan tries to meet him again the next day. The topic of Roland's research is discussed by the two of them. The doctor adds that his studies indicate the cosmos is a digital simulation created for an unidentified reason. After that, the simulation generates brand new simulations with new iterations of the narrative every second. Brendan's experience of the Mandela Effect is a bug, or a combination of the current simulation and other simulations. That is what makes life problematic. Brendan deduces from Roland's description that if this universe is created by a program, he can alter the software using script coding to make it function correctly and without any faults. Brendan deduces from Roland's description that if this universe is created by a program, he can alter the software using script coding to make it function correctly and without any faults. But if he merely uses a regular computer, it appears he won't be able to do that. Dr. Roland concurs that a simple, low-spec computer won't be able to transform the world, but he then demonstrates to Brendan that he and his team have built the first quantum computer that has been kept at a single university. Dr. Rowland continues by saying that Brendan's program might be able to run on the quantum computer. Brendan then makes the decision to start looking for literature on quantum computer programming to base his script writing on. In order to write a fresh script the following day, he also integrates part of his quantum code with game programming code. Sam's presence in their home, where he has already arrived, surprises Brendan. He initially believes it to be nothing more than his imagination, but in the end he comes to believe that he is the one who quickly takes Sam back from the parallel universe. After that, Brendan uses it to his advantage by having fun with his daughter. Brendan is relieved that he was able to replace Sam's death story with a different parallel one, but at that point, he starts to notice something odd about Claire's behavior. He then realizes that in the parallel version he is currently viewing, Sam is still alive, but Claire is under a lot of stress. Brendan rushes to see Dr. Rowland right away, but he is horrified to learn that Rowland committed suicide 2 months prior. He thinks the script he typed in had a particularly strong Mandela impact. Brendan decides to write a coding script to execute the command to reinstall the universe as soon as he realizes there is a fault in the script. Upon the reinstallation, the universe should function normally and be free of glitches like the Mandela effect. Brendan questions the storyline. He fears the end of the universe and the impossibility of its reconstruction. Brendan chooses, however, to travel to the location where the quantum computer is located and begin entering his coding script for the benefit of his wife and kid. Brendan successfully executes his script, and the quantum computer then reacts. Brendan rushes right away but discovers that every car in the parking lot is gone. He notices that everyone is starting to glitch on the bus. He notices the structures and the problem. Brendan then visits his family and discovers that something is wrong. The building darkens as he witnesses his wife having glitches. He eventually witnesses 2 moons colliding before the entire universe finally vanishes into the night. The world then started to rebuild as Brendan's script abruptly started running once more. The Mandela effect, as well as planets, germs, viruses, marine creatures, people, and entire cities, have all returned to normal. The scene then recurs when Sam, Brendan, and Claire are all at the beach. Sam is searching for snails when Brendan calls to advise her to leave the Curious George doll, which appears to be missing its tail. The movie ends as Sam searches for snails as Brendan keeps an eye on his daughter. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys again in the next movie recap. Subscribe to my channel for more interesting movie reviews.